Hello and welcome back to the 2019 Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, fueled by Petron. My name is Aaron Thompson. We're coming to you live now for race 10, but before then, let's have a quick walk down the pit lane and see who we can talk to.
Luca, you had a great first race. Now we're preparing for the second race. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was good. So we finished 5th in the first race, so reverse grid now, so starting towards the back, but should be a good race, hoping to make up a few places and finish on the podium.
So reverse grid means you're 10th place?
Well, I finished 2nd on track, so I'll be starting 9th in this one. So yeah, overtake 8 cars, I suppose.
But second in the podium, this is going to be difficult. Can you make a podium?
Hopefully. I mean, we'll just take it by the start and then overtake as many cars as we can, pick off one by one, and if we get a win, it's great. But
have fun and remember to breathe in the straight, okay?
Yeah, we'll do it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Peter. Now up to race control to watch the start of the race. As you can see, all the cars coming around turn 12 now, and in a moment we'll be underway. But before then, let's have a quick run down the starting grid. In pole position, we have Sneha Sharma. Just behind her, Yash Aradia. And Falki is taking up the 3rd position on the grid. Just behind them, we've got Malte Jakobsen, Muiz Mushaffer, Alistair Young, Shihab Al-Habsi, Josh Smith, Luca Allen, and Elias Sapanin. Of course, a few drivers unfortunately not able to join us this weekend because of exams and other things of that nature. But that's why this championship is designed for these young drivers, so that they can afford to miss 1 or 2 races, because only the best 32 out of 40 races are counted towards the championship standings. But in just a moment, you'll see the red lights come on at the front of the grid, and when they extinguish, we'll be underway. There's the green flag being waved. Red lights are on. And here we go. It looks like everybody got away well. Sneha leading us down. She's the right car in the purple number 9. Looks like Alistair Young's going up into the inside. Well, Yash takes first into corner 1, and just behind him, that must be Falki in the yellow car number 1. Here we go now, coming down the big straight here. There's a little bit of a kink in it. That's turn 2, and then we come to the big U-turn, right-handed U-turn of turn 3 in just a moment. Here's the kink of turn 2. A little bit more of a kink than I remember from last year, but Alistair Young looks like he's going to try and make a move, and on his left-hand side in the red number 34, that's Shihab Al-Habsi. They go around either side of Yash Adia and collide with, looks like, Sneha Sharma coming into turn 3. Hopefully she's okay and she manages to recover, but I do think that's going to ruin Shihab's race, while it sets up Alistair Young perfectly, because it looks like he's up into 1st position after the first 3 corners. Just behind him, just on the left of your screens, that's an orange car. I believe that is the number 17 of Yash. Yes, it is. And just coming past him now, Luke Allen in number 3. And in just a moment, he'll come off the left of your screen, and we'll see where the position of Elias Sapanin and Josh Smith is. Looks like Sneha has got significant damage to the rear of her car there. You can see the wing is definitely in a very strange position. She may have to return to the pit lane. That may not be safe to continue. But back to the front of the grid. Let's see what the Malaysian young driver is doing. Here we go. In the pink number 22 car. Just behind him, that's Josh Smith trying to make a move on. Looks like number 17, that's Yash Ardia, joining us this weekend from India for the first time. So driving very well to keep his position with a much more experienced driver. Of course, Josh Smith in Australia, having a year of F4 Australia under his belt already. So he's going to be all up behind the Indian driver, but he seems to be maintaining his composure, as Elias Sapanin is just behind both of them. And Muiz Mushaffer is trying to make a move up the inside at turn 12 on Elias. He does so beautifully, and now he's going to set himself up to try and take a podium position, looks like. But let's have a run down the positions at the end of the first lap. We've got Alistair Young, Luke Allen, Yash, Josh, Muiz, Elias. Here we go. Elias trying to take Muiz back, but doesn't quite have enough space to do so, because the Malaysian driver shuts the door on him coming through through corner 1, I should say. We did have a few track excursion penalties last time around, so I'm sure these drivers are going to be a lot more careful in this race. But Elias Sapanin all over the back of Muiz Mushaffer and Josh Smith just on the front of your grids there. Trying to make a move around the inside at turn 3, gets past him just before the entrance of the corner. And now he's going to have to chase down Luke Allen. Of course, these drivers, Luke Allen, Josh Smith, and Elias Sapanin, they were top overall last weekend, and they're probably fighting for the championship. So they need to get up onto the podium to maintain their positions. But Alistair Young driving beautifully, ladies and gentlemen, up into 1st after the first few corners, and now defending from Luke Allen, who has a lot of experience in Formula 4 UK. But of course, the Malaysian drivers competed last year with Formula 4 Asia. He's back this year because he wants to be on the overall podium a bit more, and he's doing well so far. But unfortunately, just now Luke Allen managed to get past him on the inside at turn 4, or maybe turn 5, it looked like, as they come down now into what must be turn 9. Here we go, and then into the interesting complex of 10 and 11 into turn 12. Alistair Young might be able to try and take it back here, but maybe it's just a little bit too far behind the Irish driver at the front of the grid in the blue number 3 car. As you can see, just behind them, Josh Smith has a little bit of a gap. At the start of the lap, it was about 2 seconds gap, but he might be closing that in. And this is really not what Elias Tapanin wants, because now he's stuck behind Yash and he's got to fight with Muiz as well. And then he's going to think about how to get up to the front of the grid to fight with Luca and Josh Smith. And with only 20 minutes on the board, 4 of which have already elapsed, there's only about 8 laps left to go, or 7 laps even. So here we are now, one more lap down, and we're coming around turn 1 once again with Luca Allen in the blue number 3 car at the front of the grid for the first time through turn 1. In this race at least, as they bring us down now the straight just before turn 2, the little kink in the long straight down into turn 3. Alistair Young a little bit too far back obviously to make anything happen. Just an update on the position with Josh Smith. At the start of this lap he was 2.6 seconds behind Alistair Young, so the 2 leaders of the race are at least seem to be pulling away slightly, but of course Josh was competing with Yash the last time around, so that would have slowed him down. Interesting to note, Luke Allen sets the fastest lap of the race so far, the 1:45.414. For information, we have seen 1:43s in free practice and qualifying, and I think race 1, let's have a look at the fastest time in race 1. I can't quite find it right now, ladies and gentlemen, but I think it was in the 1:44s, so we do have a little bit more time for these drivers to shave off of their laps, and you can see a little bit of their rebounds off the track there, but that should be fine, no problem with these cars. As we come around now the section of turn 5 and 6, up into turn 7 and 8, the back half of the circuit now, as we come into the closing section of this race. Is anybody close enough to make a move? Looks like Elias Tapanin is pulling away from Muiz Mashafa, and they have both gotten past the new Indian driver Yash Aradia. As they come around, this looks to be turn 9 now, up into turn 10. Elias is pulling away slightly from Muiz Mashafa, lapping about 4/10 faster from the Malaysian driver, at least the last time around. So of course this Finnish car champion is going to try and get back over to the podium, and he may be able to do so, but he's got 4 more drivers to contend with, or I should say 3, Josh, Alistair and Luca, and of course all 3 are experienced hands, and well, Elias is a rookie driver, and he's actually already the rookie winner in this race. As we come around turn 1 once again with the Irish driver Luca Allen in the blue number 3 car. At the front of your screens there, just behind him in pink, that's 22, that's Alistair Young, and just behind them, that's Josh Smith. Let's have a look at the gaps now. Interesting to note, Josh Smith, 2.7 seconds behind, so he lost a 10th that lap around, so Alistair driving very well to keep the Australian behind him. Let's have a look at the lap times. Josh doing a 1:45.210, Alistair doing 1:45.617. Sorry, that's their best time. Let's have a look at their last time. It's about the same thing, so Josh should be closing in. I don't understand why the gap is actually extending, but let's have a look back to the front of the grid. Let's pay a little bit of love to the leader here, Luca Allen, as he comes around turn 4 now. We've seen a lot of overtaking here in previous years, even last race last night, just after the tropical thunderstorm that almost blew us all away. And I'm sure we're going to see some more very soon, because Elias Tapanin is catching up to the drivers ahead of him, 1.8 seconds behind Josh Smith as it stands, and with 13 minutes, which means about 7 laps left to go, or 6 laps even. I'm sure the driver can manage to catch that out. He is lapping about the same time as Josh, though, so it may not really be enough time left. Let's have a look at the sector breakdown. Elias is the fastest second sector, Luke Allen is the fastest first sector. Luca about 2/10 faster than everybody else in the first sector, so that's interesting to note. He's definitely picking up the pace. I think he had a little bit of trouble getting used to the track in free practice, but then in qualifying he blew past everyone, or maybe even that was a strategy he planned out to psych out all the other drivers. I can't say for sure, but what I can say is Josh Smith is definitely closing in on the driver in front of him, Alistair Young, because you can see the gap now is significantly smaller, 0.8 of a second in fact, as they cross the start-finish straight, and Josh is lapping in the 1:44s. Josh, Elias and Luca in fact break into the 1:44s, all within a 10th of each other last time around. I'm sure we'll see Alistair try and answer that very soon, and we might see something interesting happen with Muiz Mashafa, because we've seen him come from a little bit further back on the grid here last year to take a podium position. But this looks like Folky Wongse-Charon, and he has obviously lost his rear wing, and he seems to be struggling a lot, especially on this circuit, which has a lot of very fast, high-speed corners, and without that rear wing, he's going to suffer a lot. The marshals may indeed need to make a decision on whether to allow him to continue racing, but that's for them to decide and for us to watch as we come around turn 4 now with car number 17. This is a new driver this weekend, Yash Aradia, joining us from India as we come now back to the front of the grid. This looks like turn 9 with Luke Allen, and just behind him Josh Smith and Alistair Young, or I should say Alistair Young and Josh Smith, because the Australian driver still hasn't found a way past his Malaysian rival as we come through the closing section of this lap with 11 minutes left on the board, so plenty of time for the Aussie to make a move. But we've seen Alistair Young hold off many drivers before. In fact, back in India, where we're visiting in a few weeks' time, he managed to hold off Alessandro Duretti for 5 laps to take his first race victory. I believe his maiden race victory in any category. So here we go, back down the straight now, 11 minutes on the board. Josh Smith, 2/10 of a second behind Alistair Young. He's going to try and dive up the inside. Decides against it at the last second as we're coming to turn 1 now. Might get the slipstream through here and try and make a move coming out of turn 2. Or maybe it's a smarter idea to wait for turn 3, because we've seen there's a lot of, there's a good opportunity for overtaking there, good chance of success. And it's an interesting corner because you can switch back and actually get a better run to come alongside on the long straight up into turn 4 and take position back. Josh Smith might try and have this an idea because he's coming along the inside. He's going to have a better exit. Look at that, he's already wheel by wheel. Oh, not quite. He's going to duck back inside behind Alistair. So he might dive up the inside now. Instead, he's going to go up onto the grass. That's a very interesting line to take. Very determined racing there. I don't know how he's managing to stay wheel by wheel with the Malaysian driver while he's got 2 pairs on the grass, but he does it and he gets past on the inside of turn 4. It's beautiful driving. Very, very interesting to see. In fact, we have seen something similar last year where I believe Kate Shepherd went off with the use of the grass, I should say, at turn 2 to get a little bit more space and go around somebody as well. So let's see if it pays off for the Aussie driver, or if perhaps he's hurt his tires a little bit, because now he's got to catch up to Luke Allen, and with 10 minutes to go and only a 2-second gap, he may be able to make something happen. He is lapping actually a little bit slower than no, I'm sorry, that's correct. He is lapping a little bit faster than Luke Allen, so but not by much, only about a couple of hundredths of seconds. So we'll have to see what happens. And Elias Sapanen just behind Alistair Young now. I'm sure the Malaysian driver has him in his rearview mirrors and is already trying to figure out what to do about the finish. Just behind him, but we'll see what Malaysia can do, because there's another Malaysian driver in car number 13 in the orange car just at the back of your screen there. That's Muiz Mushafa. He might be able to take advantage of this battle for 3rd position and catch back up and see if he has anything to say about the championship standings as we come around now. With 9 minutes left to go on the board, with Luke Allen still in the lead, Josh Smith in 2nd, Alistair Young in 3rd, Elias 4th, Muiz 5th, Yash 6th, Shihab 7th. Looks like Folky down in 8th, probably because of his rear wing. There must have been some collision that where he lost his rear wing, because he's down now with 8th, maybe even 9th. This is the start finish line. But let's have a look back towards the front of the grid, where Elias Cannon is still trying to catch up, or I should say trying to catch up. He's trying to find a way past Alistair Young. He might not want to do it the way Josh Smith did with 2 tires on the grass, but it was very interesting racing to watch as we come around turn 4 now. This is a very popular place for these drivers to make a move. Elias looks like he might be close enough, but he's decided against it. As we come around into turn 5 now, can the Finnish driver break around the inside or the outside even of the Malaysian? Not quite yet, but he's so close. At the start of the lap, he was 5/10 behind, and it's not even that now. It's less than 2. As they come around turn 6 now, turn 7 just ahead of them. Coming inside, here we go, here's the move, and the door is closed by Alistair as they come around, down, a little bit of braking here. Can they make a move? No, I haven't seen overtake, actually we have seen overtake in turn 10 11 with Rio Mikado and the Frenchman Alessandro Duretti last year, but this time around nobody's close enough to make anything happen. As they come down the straight now into turn 12 with Alistair Young still holding on to his 3rd position, driving beautifully to get into 1st in the first few corners, but Elias Sapanen is all over the back of him now, and I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen, but it may just be a matter of time before the Finishman gets in front of the Malaysian driver, but there's not going to be anything left to waste here as Alistair Young tries everything. He pulls out every stop in the book to hold the Finnish driver just behind him as they come down past turn 1. Down the long straight into turn 3, which is broken up by the single little kink in turn 2. Here it is. You can see the apex now. We've seen things happen here before, but the big corner, the big breaking point of turn 3 may be where Elias makes his move, and yes, indeed he does. But Alistair knows this track. He's going to try and switch back up the inside now. You can see he's got the better exit. He's got more momentum. He's side by side with Elias Sapanen. They're going to be wheel to wheel going down the straight into turn 4. Alistair might be able to make it past the finished driver. No, he decides against it. He's dived in behind him instead. Now back to the outside. He's going to switch up the inside now to try and get the inside line coming into turn 5. Can he make it happen? Can he do Malaysia proud? He's already done so by driving so beautifully so far in this race, but Elias Sapanen just closes the door, and the driver just behind him now, number 22. As Muiz Musafir, as we said, has taken advantage of this battle, and now the two Malaysians are going to fight for 4th position, and that's going to give Elias the chance he needs to try and catch up to Alistair Young, Josh Smith and Luke Allen just ahead of him. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Smith still with the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:44.465. That's 300ths of a second faster than anybody else. Last time around, though, Luke Allen was slightly faster, 4/10ths faster. So for sure he's trying to hold on to his race lead, and with a 4-second gap now to the Aussie, he's definitely going to be able to do that, as it looks like Muiz Musafir has his Malaysian comrade in his sights as they come around the final corner and they cross the finish straight, and now the start line as well. And you can see that they're neck and neck. They're going to make a move now coming into turn 1, maybe not quite. Elias Sapanen is already starting to build up a bit of a gap. You can see, of course, that Alistair is having to defend from the Malaysian behind him, Muiz Musafir, as they come through turn 2 once again with Luke Allen in the front of your pack. But this is the fight that we're watching, all for position 3 between Elias Sapanen, Alistair Young and Muiz Musafir. Can anybody make anything happen? Alistair's going to try and go up the inside again, similar line to it as he took last time around, but he's not close enough to get wheel to wheel as he was last lap. Of course, Elias is, as we've seen, he's an incredibly quick driver, and he's already, I'm sure, got his sights set on bigger and better things. But to do that, first he's got to catch up to Josh Smith and Luca Allen, with Alistair Young and Muiz Musafir, of course, still challenging behind him, and he's got his work cut out for him. And with 4 minutes 50 seconds left on the board, that's about 3 laps, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not sure what the Finnish driver can do about his position as it is, but he should be proud of what he's achieved, starting last, getting into 3rd, first place rookie as well. So brilliant driving from him, and of course from the Malaysians just behind him as well. Very good to watch Alistair Young getting up position so early in the race and defending as well as he did. Coming around turn 9 now with the 3 cars still fighting for 3rd position. See Elias in the red, number 58, coming all the way from Finland, is definitely edging out a slight lead, but Alistair is definitely holding on as hard as he can, as Muiz Musafir just behind him is trying to take advantage and get into 4th position. Of course, these tires are, these drivers all have to think about their tires as well, so that might be playing into the strategy now, especially in the closing sectors of the race. I'm sure the drivers they may be coming to the conclusion that at this point they can't catch the driver in front of them, so it may be a better strategy to protect their tires, because these have to last for race 3 as well later today, coming to you about 5 o'clock this evening. So coming down now, let's have a look what happens into turn 3. Nobody quite close enough to make a move. Muiz Musafir has an interesting line through there as Alistair Young clips the apex quite tight. As you can see, he cuts it a little bit tighter than the driver in front of him, Elias Sapanen. We've seen that work in people's favor, and we've seen it obviously work against people as well, so it's interesting to see the line that he's taking as we come through turn 4 now with Josh Smith at the front of your grid, and here's the battle for 3rd position once again with Elias Sapanen, Alistair Young and Muiz Musafir just behind him as we come across the Chang International Circuit signboard and up into the turn 5 left-hander, and again a left-hander of turn 6 before we switch back to 2 right-handers to turn 7 and 8. Then into the nice sort of semi-U-turn of turn 9, turn 10 and 11, and up into turn 12. And here we go. You can see this battle now between the 2 Malaysians. Muiz Musafir and Alistair Young is definitely allowing Elias Sapanen to creep away from the 2 challengers behind him. And unfortunately, that means that Malaysia may be not on the podium this weekend, and the Thai driver who joined us, Folky Wongsecharan, unfortunately back in 8th position with a problem with his rear wing. As we come across turn 12 once again, let's see the gap as we cross the start-finish line between Alistair Young and Muiz Musafir. We've got 0.3 of a second, so Muiz is definitely close enough to make something happen. Lap time-wise, we've got Alistair doing a 1:44.688 and Muiz doing a 1:44.712. That's their best times. Last time around, they did 1:44.7 1:44.7. They both did 1:44.7, so very equally matched at the moment, these two drivers, as we come through turn 2 now. And of course, we want to see some racing happen, and I'm sure they're going to give it to us very soon. But Moise Mustafa, perhaps wisely, waiting for the correct time to make the move, doesn't want to risk anything in the closing 2 laps of this race. As we come down the straight now into turn 4, we saw some very interesting overtaking here earlier in the race between Josh Smith and Alistair Young, where Josh put 2 wheels on the grass to get past the Malaysian driver coming into turn 4, which was very interesting to watch, as Elias takes us around turn 4 just again, up into turn 5 now, as Moise Mustafa is going to try and make a move up the inside of Alistair Young. Not quite close enough to make it happen though. He's going to have to tuck in now behind the Malaysian comrade through turn 6 and 7. Maybe an opportunity to turn 8, but I think he should hold off, just build his time, get as close as physically possible, and then make a move coming into turn 12. Let's see if that's what he decides to do, but he runs a little bit wide coming out of turn 8 there, so that might mess things up for him. He's not got a lot of time left, ladies and gentlemen, with only 1 minute left on the board. This is probably going to be the last lap. We'll have a look now as we cross the start-finish straight to see if the last lap board is being displayed. I don't have a message yet on my timing screens, but it does look like, oh, that's unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. That's Folky Wongsecharoen in the yellow car number 1, who joined us from Thailand this weekend. Obviously something happened to his rear wing at the beginning of the race, because now he's spun off and he's actually in quite a dangerous position. That looks like he spun off at the exit of turn 1, so you can see all the yellow flags being waved, and that may just mean that everything is going to stay as it is until the end of the race. I didn't notice the last lap board being displayed. I don't have a message on my timing screen, so that might mean we're going to have one more lap again, but with 8 seconds counting down now. I'm sure that this is going to be the final lap. Yes, here we go. We have it displayed now on the screens for us. Final lap as we come around to Luca Allen, still in the front of the grid. He's 4 seconds ahead of Josh Smith, who I think may have backed off slightly to preserve his tires for the next race. And Elias Sapanin, Alistair Young, Moise Mustafa, Yash Ardia, Shihab Al-Habsi, of course, bringing up the grid with Snehar Sharma just behind them. And as we saw, unfortunately, Folky held on as long as he could without the rear wing, but couldn't quite manage to make it to the end of the race. But he may still be classified as a finisher, because the classification depends on, you need to finish the 75% of the race duration, not the full race duration. So that does make things interesting, especially when you consider that race 3 is another reverse grid, which puts Luca Allen at the back with Josh Smith just ahead of him. So Josh may have been wise to preserve his tires, because he's going to be starting ahead of the Irishman, and that might give him the advantage he needs to get back up onto the top step in the podium. So here we go. We can see the checker flag being waved there as Luke Allen crosses the start-finish straight. Once again, taking it home for Ireland, with Josh Smith from Australia just behind him. And in third position, Elias Sapanin, and Alistair Young manages to hold on to fourth by looks like 1/10 of a second as they cross the start-finish straight, with Moise Mustafa just behind him.
Obviously starting from second last, I knew it was going to be pretty tough to make it up. Got a pretty good start, and then I think me and Elias were side by side through turn 1, and then me, Josh and Moise were side by side down the first straight. So it was so close at the start with first, second and third corner, and then coming out of turn 3 I was in P3, so then I just kind of picked off the last 2, and then luckily these guys had still a bit of work to do, so I managed to take advantage of that and get a bit of a gap.